and welcome to the Jewel Artist live show today with myself, Auret Esselin. Today, we're going to be learning how to grow your business using LinkedIn. And we have a very special guest here today, Craig Peloquin, who is a master at LinkedIn and sales. So I'm really excited to be learning from Craig. He has spent 10 years in the entertainment industry before owning his small business. And after 9 years in the direct selling industry, he has helped 3 companies cumulatively increase their sales by $23 million. So that's a lot of money. That's very impressive. And together with his business partner, Dennis Wilson, Craig has systemized communicating on LinkedIn to a point which has repeatedly produced as much as 40% increase in sales in just 6 months. So please join me in welcoming Craig to the show. Craig, welcome.
Thank you so much, Auret. It's great to be here.
Awesome, awesome. Well, before we get started, everybody, welcome to our viewers who are watching from Facebook, from YouTube, and also on the replay as well. If you're watching this afterwards, just wanted to let you know Jewel is behind the scenes managing the comments. So if at any point you have a question, please feel free to leave it. And throughout this chat, we'll be addressing questions as they come in. So yeah, let's get started. Craig, I don't know if you know this actually, but we kind of met indirectly through LinkedIn because I'll tell you how. So I gave a talk at the Vancouver Business Network, right? And I was actually, which is where I met you. And I was actually approached by Roger Killen, the organizer of that group, on LinkedIn to speak at that event. So I never would have met you if it wasn't for a LinkedIn connection.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and that's the great thing about LinkedIn. LinkedIn allows you to connect with people that you may not have had the opportunity to meet live at a networking event, but to be able to go and focus your efforts and your marketing efforts and connecting with people locally first. So I would tell people to always start and to go by region, location, as well as the type of business that they're in. So I can see why Roger would have found you with what you're doing with your YouTube group. It's fantastic to see.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was awesome. And that kind of led to a lot of other opportunities. And, that's what LinkedIn, the power of LinkedIn, which we'll get more into. So here's how we'll start the conversation. So I know a majority of people watching this, they also kind of get the power of LinkedIn. They know that it's important, but they might not, they might not even be on LinkedIn right now, or maybe they threw up a profile a few years ago and just kind of let it sit there. They're not really sure how to make the most of it. Can we first start off by addressing the difference so what makes LinkedIn different from the other social media platforms that are on there?
Exactly. I focus myself. So I'll tell you, I'm 50 years old. So I use Facebook and I use LinkedIn as my 2 primary forms of social media. I also do use YouTube. We all of our videos that we produce go on YouTube, but nothing like what you have done with Jewel. You've done a fantastic job with the amount of followers that you have. And that's why I went out to Roger's event to meet you, because I wanted to see what you were doing on LinkedIn or with YouTube.
On YouTube, yeah.
Because we'd love to have that kind of following that you have. But Facebook is for old people like me. And
I use it too. So
and LinkedIn is for business. So LinkedIn, I tell people, is kind of like the business version of Facebook. So you're not going to be posting on LinkedIn what you had for breakfast. You're not going to be posting on LinkedIn a picture of your grandkids. You're not going to be posting all that. LinkedIn is your business networking media. That's what it's for. So it's where it's like your resume. Everything that you've done, who you are in business, is what LinkedIn is all about. But did you know that 51% of people don't even have a completed LinkedIn profile? Like more than half of people,
up there, but partially complete.
Yeah, partially complete. They don't even have a background image. They've they took a photo that they found with their friends, and they cropped their friends out to make their headshot. They slapped together a couple of things, and they have a very, very meager profile on LinkedIn. And what people don't realize is that if somebody Google searches you, one of the first things they're going to find in a Google search is your LinkedIn profile. It ranks very, very high in Google. And if the very first thing they see is that you're really not so professional about your business, and you don't take enough care to at least put a good profile, to spend some time, to maybe even go and pay for a professional photographer to take your headshot, what kind of business are you running? So you need to understand, what picture are you sending out to people? Even if you say, I'm not using LinkedIn, people on LinkedIn are going to see that you're not using it.
Right.
Not using it effectively.
Yeah, I mean, it's so important to put your best foot forward and make that it's first impressions, right? Even when you're meeting someone in person, that's the first impression. So what are they getting from you right off the bat? And I think online is actually even more so important, because it's easier to dismiss. It's harder to dismiss someone in person, but it's easier to dismiss when you're browsing online, that kind of thing. So absolutely. Who would you say then is the platform for? Like who should be on it? Is it only for businesses, like people who service businesses, or what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, if you're in a business that requires customers, if you're not let me think, a school teacher is not somebody that would really need to be on LinkedIn for their business. They are in a position where they're working with children who are typically probably not going to be on LinkedIn. There's no reason for them to try to get more customers. They don't have that. There's no need for a teacher, unless, of course, a teacher has a home business that they do on the side, and many people do, that they want to be able to talk about. So people in network marketing, home businesses, restaurants, any service business, coaches, absolutely a great place to be able to do that. What you do with your YouTube audience, be able to have a LinkedIn profile. So anybody that has a business, brick and mortar or online, should have a personal LinkedIn profile and a business LinkedIn profile. Kind of like on Facebook, where people have a personal Facebook page and they have their business page. Everybody can be on Facebook because they want to talk, with friends and share their photos and stuff like that. On LinkedIn, it's just business.
Okay. And so those are two things that you need to build separately, is your profile and your business page on LinkedIn, and you can link them together so people can find your business through your profile. Is that how it works?
Correct. So just like on Facebook, where you would go through your personal page and create a business page, the same thing happens in LinkedIn. In your back office, you can create a business page and attach it to your personal page.
Okay. Awesome. And so, so for myself, like I'm asking these questions for myself too, because, we've been heavily focusing on YouTube, and we're posting on Facebook and Instagram too, but it's just, LinkedIn has taken a back seat. And so what would you say to someone who, is just, they know the importance of the platform, but they want to kind of get some key strategies out of how to make the most of being on there? How can they make the most of their time? What are, let's say, 3 main keys to really making the most out of this platform?
That's a great question, Reed. The number one thing is to get on there and do it. So get out there and spend the time. It doesn't take a lot of time to get your profile updated and get to an all-star profile. It doesn't take long. And that's where you want to be. If you want to increase your chances of making engagement, you want to get to the point where it says you have an all-star profile. And that's putting in a background image, putting in a professional photo, taking time and writing what you do, and putting in all the things that you've done in the past. So just getting out there and doing it. It took me a long time, like yourself, to get involved in LinkedIn. I remember when I wasn't involved, and I've only been on LinkedIn for about 6 or 7 years now. And I only got involved on the platform because I took a position as the VP of a direct selling company here in Vancouver. And the requirement was that I had a LinkedIn profile. And I was like, oh,
It was a requirement.
I don't have to. I have to get.
Oh, interesting.
And it was like, this is part of my, I have to have one of these. So I begrudgingly went out there and started putting in and making my profile. And then I realized if it was going to be successful, I needed to pretend that it wasn't social media. How would I connect with people if I was meeting them face to face? Because this was different. This was business. And I created a profile and I connected with people in a way that I would connect with you if you were live at a networking event and I met you face to face. So the number two thing that people do wrong in LinkedIn is they think that they can just automatically send all the information to somebody once they connect and send them a big long list of, hey, Auret, thanks for connecting. And you'd be so great with my business. And here's a link to this video. And here's a link to this. And go try this. And it's about this long. And they try to sell you what they're doing in the first message. So I'm going to say that LinkedIn is like online dating. Okay. So when you get started, you're going to have to meet somebody. You got to say hello. You got to see if you have any common interests. You got to work on that connection. Then you got to hold hands first. Maybe go for a cup of coffee. Then maybe you go for dinner. But unfortunately, what happens on LinkedIn is so many people are thinking, they're treating it more like Tinder. Swipe right, your place or mine. This is not how it works. You've got to go and make a relationship with somebody in order to, and now when I say that, make friends first, but make the right kind of friends first. And LinkedIn allows you to connect with the right people that could be good for your business, but also where you can be good for theirs. It needs to be a reciprocal arrangement. It needs to be a mutually beneficial, part for both of you. If it's a one way, somebody isn't going to help you. So you need to go out on LinkedIn and connect with people with the attitude of giving instead of getting. And that's really worked well for me in building it. And it worked so well over the years that I was told time and time again, Craig, you need to take this and turn this into a system. You need to make this into a book. You need to write a book. You need to write a book. And I kept on saying, yeah, one day I'll write a book. And then my business partner, Dennis, phoned me one day and he says, Craig, guess what? I said, what? I sold your book to one of my clients. And I was like, I don't have a book. He goes, I know you don't.
Not yet, you don't.
You got 30 days to write it. And that was my incentive to finally go and write my book. Now, the first book I wrote specifically for the network marketing industry on how to build your MLM business using my LinkedIn system, because that's the industry, that's my background. I spent 25 years in direct sales and network marketing. And then I just finished writing the one now for small business. And everybody's on the call. Don't worry, at the end, we're going to give you a link and you will be able to get a free copy of my book.
That's awesome. That's very nice of you, Craig. Yeah, so stick around because he has a couple offers for you just for our audience here at Jewel Auret. So we'll get into that later. But you said so many things that I want to touch upon in that last answer. So you mentioned that really how to make the most of being on LinkedIn is through like treating it less like a social media platform of posting, having to post and that kind of thing, and more about connecting, more about networking, like a networking meeting. So how does one do that? So are you spending more time than messaging people on the platform, or are you even posting? Like, do you create posts on LinkedIn? How do you make the most of that, of connecting with people on the platform?
And that's a great question. So how I make the most of it is, what I found very quickly is that LinkedIn was great for connecting with people, but was really hard at follow-up. There was no way to know what I said to somebody and who I talked to a week ago. Yes, I could see on my feed who I talked to in the last, and messaged me in the last few minutes, but it didn't have a really good way to follow up. And that's when I went to my business partner, Dennis, and I said, Dennis, we need to create something that can help us follow up on LinkedIn, because I'm forgetting who I talked to a week ago. Never mind, I talked to you a month ago. I have nearly 7,000 connections on LinkedIn. How can I possibly remember who I was talking with without proper software? And fortunately, that's what my book does explain. Small Business Dream, that's our company. Design the software to be able to follow up specifically in social media. So being able to know who you're talking to and remember who you're supposed to follow up with is key to doing it. I don't do a lot of posts on LinkedIn. There is a new feature on LinkedIn, though, similar to Facebook, where you can do a LinkedIn event. That's brand new. That's really awesome. And that's a feature that I'll be using as much as I use Facebook events. So just like you were creating an event for your YouTube event, and you're doing a Facebook Live, you can now do LinkedIn events, which is something new in their beta testing, and that's really, really exciting. And I just saw the first one, and I'm going to an event tomorrow that was promoted as a LinkedIn event. So that's great. But posting on LinkedIn, just like posting on your Facebook or doing stuff on Instagram, very few people are going to see your actual posts. In Facebook now, only 2% of your friends will see anything that you post at any one time. It's a pay-to-play game in with Facebook now. You don't pay, nobody's going to see your post. Where you're going to get the most effective use of LinkedIn is through the personal message, where you message them direct. The direct message is the best way to get engagement.
Okay, interesting. So that's interesting that you said you don't really post as much, and where you spend most of your time is just direct messaging people. So
yes.
How do you find people that you would want to connect with?
That's a great question. The best way to go, and I actually have a few slides. Why don't I jump into something that shows people the best way to get in? Because that's a great question there. I'm just going to share my screen here. And just a second here. I'm going to get to the right page that I want on that.
And let us know, guys, if you're watching this, like if something's off, you're not getting the audio, or you're not seeing the screen, just let us know so we can fix it.
All right, so I'm going to share. Okay, I'm just going to share this. Can you see that's my LinkedIn back office right there. So you can notice now that on my back office, I do have an all-star profile. And I've got a banner that was professionally made in the backdrop talking about my 5-step system. And I've got a headshot that was professionally taken by a photographer. One of the first things you want to do, and we might as well, while I'm on this, let's just talk about that before I get to your question, Auret. This is where you edit your profile. Now, you click that little pencil, and you'll be taken to the place here. This is what most people see on their profile. All they're seeing is they're seeing a blank background, and they're seeing a place to put their photograph. So you need to make sure that you've got these filled out. When you see somebody with that little blue background, you know they haven't taken time to do it properly. So here's a professionally done background with one of our clients. Our artists go and created a montage. She's a travel expert and expert traveler. Notice a professional photograph has been used and poses. And notice how you see it differently on the computer than what you see when you're on mobile. So always make sure that you're being cognizant of where you're arranging things. Here's our business page. So you'll notice it's a little bit different on the business page. It's a longer image. And then we put our logo instead of a picture in that screen, and see how it looks differently on both for Small Business Dream. Poses is really important, and there are certain poses that convert. So while we're on this topic, let's talk about some of the poses that convert. Now we can do this. I can stop sharing it for a second. So you can do this with me. The number one pose that we use, and everybody at home, you can try this and do this, and it's really simple. It's crossing your arms over your chest like that. Now, and I know, ladies, you got to sometimes push the girls down because everybody's got a little different. And so it's very natural. It's not hands tucked in, because it's an open pose. Fingers aren't splayed, they're closed.
Genie pose, right? That's kind of like a genie.
It is, pretty much. Yeah, it's the genie pose. You've got that right. And this is the #1 converting pose. And you'll see, I'll show my screen up here again. Just give me a second here, and I'll show what that's supposed to look like. So you can see with Dennis and I, we're back to back. And you can see the individual poses of how it looks, just like that. And you want to, when you're taking the photographs, pose in both directions, depending on what part of how you're using on social media and pictures and that, you'll want to have you facing different directions. So that is the #1 power pose that you can use. Okay, so the #2 power pose, this is the giver, okay? And you're just looking straight on into the camera, and your hands come out like you're holding a ball and you're giving. Now, this is the beggar. We don't do the beggar, okay? We're not. So hands like that. So you want to turn them and out just slightly and hold them out like you're giving them. Pretend you have a globe or a big ball in your hand and you're handing it to them. And so it's a very, very natural pose and like that. So your hands aren't up here. They're not down here. They're just right out like you're handing. And it's a very, very natural pose. And that looks more like this. So I'll just bring that up. And so that one looks like that or like that. So the one with the hands down there, not quite right. The hands need to come up. And then the thinker. This is the thinker pose. And notice you're not covering your face in this, but you can do it with one hand underneath. If you're wearing a nice watch, you can show it like Daryl there in the middle. And that's the thinker pose. Now, the last pose I'm going to show you here is the hardest one to do and to get away with. But if you can pull it off, that is the highest converting pose that is available. And I did it as a joke, the way that we did this pose. And when you go and use this pose, the great thing about this pose is that you can then stick it in front of a backdrop and crop out the background and throw it up. I did this as a joke. Our coaches that we have said these are the top converting poses. And they spent millions of dollars in A/B testing poses of what sells and what doesn't sell on the internet. So we didn't agree. I thought this was a silly looking pose, but I'm not going to argue with millions of dollars of A/B testing on the internet. So I just said, okay, we'll do the pose. Sure enough, our engagement went up. I threw that out there on my Facebook as a joke, and people were like, you're not going to keep that pose. My mom was like, Craig, you're really not going to keep that pose. You look kind of silly. But I had so many people commenting on it, and the engagement went up. I've left it as my Facebook profile. And to do these poses, that one was as simple as taking a green screen, and we put it down and onto a table and then draping it down. And we lied on the green screen. So you need to have lying down. And no, it's not comfortable and it's not fun to do, but it'll take a few shots. If you can pull it off, I'd love to see you pulling off pose #4. And it works really well for selling a book. So that's why I did it. And it's different. People look at it and they just kind of do a double take. Like, really? He's lying down. That's weird. So many of you will not do this. I know that. I challenge you to give it a try. And ladies, you're probably going to say, there's no way I'm doing that. But you know what? It works for some people and it doesn't. I'm just showing you some of the things that you can use to build. So once you've got your profile done and you got it to All-Star, now you can start reaching out to people. And reaching out.
Sorry to interrupt. Can you explain a little bit about what All-Star is for those of us who don't know?
Yeah. So All-Star in your LinkedIn profile itself. Actually, here what I'll do is I will bring up my LinkedIn. Let me share my actual LinkedIn and show you where it says that on your home button. Let me just grab that. It'll tell you what your profile status is. and it'll tell you whether you're all-star or not. And all-star status, I'm trying to see is the fast way I can share this or not. Intro, edit. And they just changed a bunch of stuff in the background here. I'm just trying to see if there's a fast way I can show you. But having everything done, I guess the easiest way to share this is having everything done on your profile is what's going to get you to an all-star status. So it's like filling out your background, doing everything, making sure that you filled it all out. LinkedIn will say you've gone from a beginner profile to an all-star profile. So you want to make sure you've done everything it says. You've got all your history of all the places that you've worked, all your business connections. You filled out your profile. You've done everything it says to do. You got a good photo. You've done your background. Then you go from a beginner to an all-star.
Okay. Where do you see that? It's just going to show up in your profile?
It's right there in your profile. It tells you what your profile is and what your whether you're at a beginner all the way to an all-star. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Very cool. So going back to the previous conversation, so how do you find the right people to connect with? Because you mentioned, it's that's where you spend most of your time is one-on-one direct messaging. How do you find those people to connect with?
That's a great question. So let me just show you a quick little photo. I'm just going to share that because that's a great question. Let me just jump in here, and it's easier to show than to explain on this one. All right, so let's get that. So the best thing that you can do is to search for your industry keyword and your city name, because what you're trying to do here is you're trying to find connections that are complementary to your type of product or service, and you're looking for possible joint venture partners. So what I mean by that is, so if you happen to be, let's say, let's use an example. You're in the health industry and you sell a health product. You want to look for people that would be the best to either use your product or have connections that can use your product. So we have a client that sells a weighted blanket. So this is a really good example. Well, actually, let's bring her up. Let me share right now. I think I actually have her as an example here. So this will be the easiest way to understand how to go and find somebody. So let me just grab this. So here she is, Dr. Tina, and she is Europe's premier medical researcher, and she has BB weighted blankets. So she asked that question: how do I find the right people? So in LinkedIn, there's a place to go and search. And one of the things that her blankets help is people that have difficult sleeping because they have restless legs. So if you do a search in the search box up in the corner of LinkedIn, you can see I typed in restless legs, and there are 1,024 people on LinkedIn that somewhere in their profile have something about restless legs. Well, that's a pretty good group to target. If you go restless legs Vancouver, so be even more specific, it changes it to just 12 results. But that means there's 12 people in the Vancouver area that are specifically in their profile talk about doing something with people with restless legs. That's who I would want to go after first. Now, her blanket also helps people with autism. So I typed autism in the search. Well, when I typed in autism, I got 461,476 results. That was a little bit too much. That's a lot of people to talk to. If you go autism Vancouver, that drops it down to 5,757 results. So don't you think that somebody like this, like Chelsea, who does treatment for autism, developmental disabilities, and acquired brain injury, do you think that maybe she might be a good joint venture partner, somebody to partner with and connect with on LinkedIn? So you're looking for people who may not themselves want to use your product, but are connected to people that would use your product or service and may want to partner with you in a joint venture.
So you're going to be using LinkedIn for creating those valuable connections that will lead you to the clients, not necessarily the clients themselves. So
Right.
which is what you termed as JV partner. Okay, so once you find, so I guess the strategy is really to try and narrow that down as much as possible. So you were trying to get, fewer results, but still being very targeted, like using your city and your keyword, whatever it is, whatever industry that you're in. And
Yes.
then once you find X number of people to connect with, what do you do next? How do you approach them?
Well, and that's the thing. So LinkedIn allows you to go and use a feature. So how do you approach it? That's a great question. I have a slide for that.
Of course you do. You have slides for everything, Craig.
All right, let me get in there. So how do you do that? So what you don't do is you don't just click the connect button. Okay, LinkedIn lets you do that. Don't just say, okay, I found the right person, connect. That's the wrong way to do it. All right, it's fast, but it's wrong, because what this doesn't allow you to do is add a custom invitation. What you need to do is you click on the person's name, and then when her profile comes up, there's a big blue connect button, and you're going to click that blue connect button. And this is going to allow you to add a note and send a custom invitation. This is really important. If you don't include a personal note, your likelihood of engaging somebody goes down. Now, what are you going to say? You're going to find your common connections. Go to their profile section, see what they do. Use common ground in your personal invitation. Don't sell here. You're just going to make a connection. You want them to accept your invitation, but don't do what everybody else does. Don't just be a spammer and go connect. That doesn't work. Make it customized. Hello, Jennifer. I wanted to connect with you because we share a passion for helping children sleep better. I hope we can discuss a possible collaboration. And then put your last name, Tina. Tina was sending out this invitation. And then click send the invitation. So it's very important when you're sending invitations that you write that custom invitation. You take the extra time to find out who they are. And we see that invitation when somebody tries to connect with us. So we're seeing, they took time to see what I do. They read my profile. They know who I am. One of the things in my profile that I put specifically in there is for people in multi-level marketing, because I have a network marketing background. I spent 25 years in the direct selling industry as a distributor. I was $1 million earner in a couple of different companies. I've owned my own network marketing company. I've helped with my business partner, Dennis. We started over 700 MLM companies worldwide over the past 20 years. So because of our background in network marketing, we get approached by a lot of people in network marketing to be in a distributor in their business. So I specifically put in my profile, attention, MLMers. I'm happy to connect with you, but don't prospect me. Mm-hmm. I'm not a prospect. I'm not open to be prospect. And I do that for two reasons. Number one is I'm not a prospect. I don't join MLM companies now because I consult for many and do that. It would be a conflict of interest. I also happen to own my own multi-level marketing company right now, so it would be a really big conflict. And two is I do it to see if they actually read my profile, because it's one of the ways that I follow up. When the person says, I know I read your profile and you're not open to my business, but I like to connect anyways, that person I want to connect with and I like to help because they listened. They read the profile. They did it. When they immediately go into pitch mode, I can say, did you read my profile? Oh yeah, I read your profile. No, you didn't. You're trying to prospect me. And then I try to educate them on how to go and use LinkedIn properly. And typically I'll offer them something like my book. Hey, maybe you want to get a free copy of my book.
Absolutely. And I had like a bunch of questions in my mind, but absolutely get a free copy of Craig's book. I have my own copy right here, and the link is on the screen for you to go get it. He's offering a free copy of this book, 5-step system on LinkedIn for generating more leads and more prospects for your business. So the link is on the screen. Hit that up and just go grab your free copy. It's I'm halfway through it, And it's like, it's stuff that you don't normally see. Like, it's not something that I could go Google, like how to grow my business on LinkedIn. This is stuff that I haven't seen before. Is really how to systemize connecting with people. So it's really great. Make sure you grab your copy.
And a lot of the screenshots that I've been sharing with everybody here are just from my book. It's a boring book. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's boring. It's a step-by-step system. The first part is a little bit of a story. And yes, when you do look at it on the first part, you can't really see it there. But if you get the book, that is me. I spent in the entertainment business. I spent 10 years working for a tiny little fast food restaurant with golden arches. I was their clown. Yes, I was Ronald McDonald. That is an actual photo of me in costume. If you saw Ronald in the 80s and 90s.
See, that wasn't boring for me. I read that. I'm like, what? That's crazy. Like, that's interesting.
But one of the things I learned from McDonald's, and one of the great things that I bring into what I do right now, is McDonald's had a system. And that's what I learned from the very beginning. When I was 17 years old and I started my job with McDonald's, they flew me down to Hamburger University. It really does exist. It's McDonald's University, just outside of Chicago. And I went to their HU and I learned about the system for being Ronald, but they use the same system in every restaurant. That's why when you go to a McDonald's in Vancouver or in New York or in London and you have a Big Mac, you always get 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, because that's what's in the Big Mac. And they have a system to make that Big Mac the same no matter where you go. So consistency is the key. It's the same to building your business. I've got a simple 5-step system that shows you how to go all the way through what we've been talking about here to connect with 10 people a day. So I also make it in bite-sized chunks. I've had people try to connect with 100 a day. And at first they say, Craig, it's really easy. I can do 100 a day. And it's easy to connect with 100 a day. But it's not easy to follow up every day. Because if you're not prepared to do the follow-up, once somebody connects with you, and this is the key, Auret, the key is you need to follow up with your new connection the same day. And the sooner you follow up when somebody connects with you, and you're notified by email, you're notified if you download the LinkedIn app onto your phone, you're notified by push notification that you have a new connection. And when you have a new connection, the faster you can send them a thanks for connecting, I really appreciate you connecting with me, and you send them a customized message, the more likely you can turn that into a proper connection. And that's where most people fail. They go connect, and then 2 weeks later, oh, I see John connected with me. Maybe I should send them a message. John forgot about you 36 minutes after he connected with you. John forgot about you. You want to engage them. You want to say, how can I help you? I've got connections. How can my connections help you? What kind of connections are you looking for? Who is your perfect customer? And if you go with that attitude of giving and not getting, and don't do what everybody else does as soon as they connect, send this big, huge laundry list of links and how amazing your products and services are that they should buy. That does not work on LinkedIn.
Now, whenever I receive those messages, I just move on, right? Just delete them. It's not, you're absolutely right. Like when you receive a personal message, as someone has demonstrated, they've read your profile, they know what you're about, they know what you're looking for, it's going to make you listen. So that is a great tip. Just to pause here for a second, I want to acknowledge some people who have said hello to us on the stream. Liat and Steve Chiquilo, thank you for joining us. Let us know if you have any questions, guys. And Small Business Dream.
That must be Dennis. Dennis, you're working this morning. That's good. My partner up there. Glad he's watching.
Awesome. Are there, Jewel, are there any questions?
Not right now.
Not right now? Okay, great. Awesome. Cool. So to summarize, let's go back to what you said. So direct messaging people is what's really going to get you those targeted leads. To find them, you want to type in, the city and some keywords about what your industry is, like health, or you said something about, restless legs. So if you're helping people in that industry, maybe you'll type in your city and then restless legs, find those people, connect with them. But instead of just hitting the connect button on that results page, you want to go to their actual profile, hit connect there, which allows you to send a custom message to them.
That's the key.
So, absolutely. And then once you send that message, you'll want to follow up with them. You stay on top of following up with them within 24 hours. So how do you keep up with that? How do you keep up with all those messages? If you're doing this on a regular basis. And by the way, here's another question within a question. How many times a day do you do this? How many connections do you start? Is it in a day or in a week? What do you do there?
Great question. Well, I use Small Business Dream. I use software. In order to be able to do the proper follow-up, you need to have a CRM. You need to have a way to be able to do it. And you may have one already. You may have something that you're using right now to keep track of your data. You need to have something for your database. In order to use my system, we customize Small Business Dream with a LinkedIn program to be able to do my system perfectly. So when you read my book, it does talk about how you can use software to do that. You can do it manually. You can use Excel spreadsheets. You can try to use your day timers and things like that if you want to do it for free. There are free tools out there that you could link up and pull together. And that's what I was doing at first. And I got tired of taking, this free tool and this free tool and trying to link it through this free tool and making this one go. I was spending more time trying to connect all the data. I wanted one place to be able to follow up. So having a tool to help you follow up makes it easy. How many? 10 a day. I teach you to go out and request the connection on 10 a day. Now, why does 10 work? 10 a day, every day for 30 days is 300 connection requests. That doesn't mean you're going to connect with 300 people, Auret. You won't. You will connect with about 25% of those. Only about 25% of people, when you're new, when you have a very low number of connections yourself, so you're not at 500 connections, you're less than 500, you will connect with about 25%. So 75 people will accept your connection on average if you reach out to 10 people a day. But 75 new connections in a month. Out of that, when you follow up with them with a message and say, thanks for connecting, and then follow up every couple of days trying to use my system to connect and continue to reach out, you're going to send that first message. And 2 days later, you're going to remind yourself to look and see if they replied to your message. Because if they didn't reply to your message saying, thanks for the connection, you're going to send them another message. Say, hey, a couple of days ago, we connected on LinkedIn. I had asked, what kind of, what is your perfect connection? And is there anybody I can help send your way for my connections? And they don't respond. And a week goes by. You send them another message. Hey, last week we connected. You're probably not on LinkedIn every day like I am. Just wanted to know how I can help make our connection better. And you're trying to use your software and to engage in a conversation. And I will do that for an entire month. And if they don't connect with me within the month and reply back, they're not a connection. And out of your 75 people, only about 25% of them, so about 15, 20 people will engage in a conversation with you, of which only 25% of that, only about 4 or 5 will lead to you having a possible conversation that can turn into a potential joint venture partnership in working in some way. And you might end up with one joint venture partner, somebody that you can collaborate with because their products fit what you're doing, your products fit what they're doing, and you can make a really good relationship. Well, I know that if you can find one really good partner, JV partner, a month, in a year, what 12 really good JV partners can do for your business. And I know that you can follow up with 10 people a day. You can connect with 10 people in the morning over your first cup of coffee. You can reach out to 10 people. You can do that in 10 minutes. And you can follow up with all those connections in under an hour a day. And that's why 10 a day is the magic number. It works. I've seen it work. I've helped people do that. And it's not biting off more than you can chew.
This in itself is a joint venture collaboration from LinkedIn's, because, you know, after we connected at that in-person event, you know, it kind of, the follow-up started on LinkedIn. And then I saw what you were doing and then wanted to invite you to come and do this interview for us, because there's just so much to learn about LinkedIn.
Right,
So
and you're the perfect joint venture partner, because you've got an audience of people on your YouTube channel that could learn about small business. They have a small business and maybe can use LinkedIn. So you, in a joint venture with you, gives me access to an audience to talk to that I wouldn't have access to. And you've now got access to a tool that your listeners may or may not be able to use, and at least to be able to get a book. And then we joint venture together moving forward. So us working together as a team is a lot better than us trying to do things separately. And we try to find many joint venture partners, so much that we created a joint venture app to be able to help connect the dots together through Small Business Dream to find the right joint venture partners.
That's awesome. And like, I can really start to see the difference here, because on other social media platforms, you're typically trying to connect mainly with clients and consumers to get clients into your business. But here on LinkedIn, it's connecting with business partners that will give you leverage to their own database of clients. So it's like you're really using the 80-20 rule, you know, properly here. You're going after a concentrated influencers and connections that will lead you to that. Just bring back more business into your world. So that's really cool. Craig, we do have one question here. Someone asking about LinkedIn Premium. Is it worth it to pay to get the paid version?
Great question.
What is your opinion?
If you look at my LinkedIn account, and be more than happy to connect with me on LinkedIn, both Auret and I have this wonderful anomaly that we have very unique names. I am the only Craig Peloquin in the world. I don't know how many Auret. Is your name unique as well? You're probably the only one.
It's actually unique in Israel. But the only Auret Estlin, I think. I haven't met another Auret Estlin.
There you go. Well, I know if you Google me, I'm the only Craig Peloquin in the world. Typically, my LinkedIn profile comes up pretty high in the ranking. So yes. I'm sorry, I just lost my train of thought. What was the question again?
LinkedIn Premium.
Premium. So yeah. I've had Premium. Premium is expensive. When you first get started using my system and you're connecting, LinkedIn Premium will come in handy. And the wonderful thing about Premium is that LinkedIn will offer you a free 30-day trial of LinkedIn Premium. So when you're using my system to connect as a free user, you are limited to the amount of connection requests that you can make in a calendar month. Now, nobody knows what that number is. They don't tell you the number, but you're limited. So at one point, you'll be connecting and you go, oh, Craig, your system is awesome. I'm connecting. And then it's going to say, you can't do any more requests unless you upgrade to Premium. And at that point, I tell everybody, upgrade to Premium. Take the free 30-day trial and then connect like crazy and get as many connection requests out there as you can and use it. After 30 days, make the decision. It's if you think you want to continue working it really hard, Premium can be an advantage. I personally don't use Premium because I teach people how to build their business without Premium. So there are ways that Premium is an advantage to you as a business. If you're using LinkedIn a lot and you're doing a lot of searches and you're really using it as your main platform. I'd say for most people, if you're just using your 10 a day and following my system, Premium isn't necessary. But definitely at the beginning, you'll probably end up using LinkedIn Premium.
Good to know. Excellent. Yeah, because I keep seeing those messages too on my profile to upgrade to LinkedIn Premium. So they're doing a good job promoting that, but I didn't know what the difference was. So that's good to know.
Yeah, you also can in-message people. So if you're not connected on Premium, you're able to message people directly that you can't on the free. You also get more tracking of who's viewing your profile. So there's a few more things that it offers. But if you're using my system, Premium is not necessary to follow my system, but it might be in the first 30 days.
Got it. Cool. And so we have about 10 minutes left here on the call. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Just give us a brief summary of what that system is and how people can interact more with you after this call.
Sure. I certainly can do that. Let me see where I am on my presentation here so I can. How about I give everybody my bonus first?
Yeah, go for it.
One of the things that I taught, let me just grab that here. And when we met at the event, I showed everybody how to use LinkedIn to connect with the room. So why don't I teach everybody here some cool little things about LinkedIn? You'll need to have LinkedIn, the app, on your phone, but I've got this on a slide presentation. So let me grab that slide because you're going to love this. This is the best thing to connect with everybody in the room. So when you log into LinkedIn, at the bottom corner, you're going to see 5 icons. The second one, which is 2 little people sitting side by side, you click on that, and that's going to bring you a little blue button that's going to appear, and you're going to click on that. Then you're going to see these 3 drop-down menus appear, and one of them says Find Nearby Off. When you click on that, or if you have an older phone, it'll be right there, Find Nearby, right on the page. So if you don't get that blue circle, there's 2 places you're going to see it. You click on Find Nearby, and now it opens up this one place on your phone that will show every single person in the room that is on that page, and you can connect with them. So if you can control the microphone, if you're there and you've got the mic, and you can tell everybody in the room to go to that page on LinkedIn at one time, you can connect with the entire room in 30 seconds. And that's really fantastic, especially now that we're in a place where a lot of people don't carry business cards anymore. I'm environmentally friendly and I don't want to have a business card and I don't want to, kill a tree. And here's a great way to get your information right on somebody's phone. Now that information does you no good unless you follow up with the person that same day, say, hey, it was great meeting you at that networking event. How can I help you? And what is your ask? What are you looking for? How can I make our connection better? So that is one of the cool things about LinkedIn.
It really is super cool, guys. I was in the room when Craig did that. And I think that's what instantly I'm like, this is the LinkedIn expert. I need to talk to this guy. We need to connect because it instantly pulls up everybody who has tuned in, like opened their LinkedIn app, and instantly allows you to add people and connect with them in the room. So it's leverage. Again, it just comes back to leverage and making the most of those connections. So it's really cool.
Yeah.
It's powerful.
So what our software does, just in a nutshell, what our software does, and there is no offer for our software today. If you want to learn more about it, you can find us at smallbizdream.com. I'll show you the link. I'll share a link. We're here to talk about LinkedIn. So why is this important? So LinkedIn and Small Biz Dream. So what Small Business Dream does is a bunch of things, not just LinkedIn. One of the coolest things that it allows you to do at a networking event is transcribe business cards. So this is one of the great features of having the software. Imagine going to an event, and how many of you go and collect business cards when you go to live networking events? You collect cards. Well, if you use my LinkedIn system and you connect with the whole room, you don't need a card. Or if you've got the app, you can take a picture of somebody's business card. It goes to a real live employee at Small Business Dream who takes all the information from the card, puts it into your database, and then sends out a pre-written email that you already have saying, I met you at this event and good to connect with you, and can put them into an email follow-up series. So imagine the power of not going home with a stack of cards, having to go and then enter them into some sort of database. All you do, take a picture and done. All done in an event. So that's one of the cool things about having software like Small Business Dream. There's other things out there that do that as well, but this is all part of it. You also get a website and sales funnels as part of your business. When you go to download a copy of my book, you're going to go to a sales funnel. It's going to ask you for your name and your email before you get a link to my book. It has your contact manager. It lets you to do surveys and data collection, automatic email follow-up, and the LinkedIn campaign engine, as well as a listing in our Business Finder and joint venture app that I was talking about. So this is our app. It's called Small Biz Dream. You can go on and you can get a copy of it. It's out there on Google Play and iTunes. It's called Small Biz Finder, and you can ask for that or go to our website and get access to it. But what I'm going to offer you today is a chance to tune up your profile. You saw some of these profiles that were done. We offer this to our clients, and it's $299 normally for a client. They come to us, and we update and we get them to an all-star status. We update their background. We have a professional graphics team that will put together your profile based on your business. We'll do that, put it all together, make it look fantastic. But Auret, for your listeners, we do have a special today only until midnight. We'll offer it for $99. So
Amazing.
if you want to get a tune-up and you want us to help you with your LinkedIn and get it looking great and get it to all-star status, we'll do that for $99 today. If you want us to do LinkedIn and Facebook, we'll do the both. Normally we charge $500 for that, $499. We can do both of them for you today for $179. We'll update both your social media platforms. These are the two main ones. And when we do it, you get access to use the photos that we use. They're yours. So you can use them on any of your social media. So you already saw the link. It's okay to share, everyone. If you want to share this with your friends, it's okay. Is the link being on there? There's for the tune-up. Yep, great. Thank you. You got twt.bz/tune. That is for the tune-up. Right there. There's the tune-up. It'll go to a page like this, which is a landing page for you to be able to tune up your book. Once again, okay to share. Share it with your friends that couldn't get on live. You can share that with them. Happy to tune up their profiles. And then finally, if you just want to learn more about what we do, you can go and learn more at smallbizdream.com. That's
awesome.
our website.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much for those generous offers, Craig, and thank you very much for your time here today, for being here. It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
You know what? Thanks so much. It was great being part of your show. Love doing this. Great to meet all of you. Thanks for joining us live or watching the replay. It was my pleasure. So it's great to spend an hour with you this morning. Thanks, Auret. And thanks, Jewel, in the background, whichever side you're on.
She just laughed. So guys, if you want to get that, if you want to take Craig up on his offer for the tune-up, the link is in the description below if you're watching this on YouTube, and it's on the screen right here if you're on Facebook. And we also have that get a free copy of his book. That link is also in the description here. So thank you once again, Craig, for being here. And thank you guys all so much for watching. We will see you in the next one. Bye.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye, everyone.